Thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Anan Al-Anani. I'm an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Account Manager. Today I'm being joined with Mr. Mohammed Jamal. He's from Riyadh Municipality, one of the largest accounts who's using Oracle infrastructure, is using Oracle software. We've been working together for the past maybe 10 to 15 years. They have adapted a lot of Oracle technology. So welcome, Mr. Jamal.
Welcome, Anan.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Briefly, can you just please tell me more about Riyadh Municipality and specifically about the IT services that Riyadh Municipality is providing either for the community or as kind of IT services that we're providing to the business users?
Yes, yes, Riyadh Municipality has a great history for the IT services. Actually, it started 30 years ago. So 1990, this is the first year that the IT department in Riyadh Municipality started. So over the last 50 years, it has been accommodated for the technology up to date. So for example, Riyadh Municipality was one of the first customers who is using Oracle Parallel Server, which is named now Oracle Cluster, Oracle Real Application Clusters. So all of Riyadh Municipality is, getting the last technology, because the services that Riyadh Municipality providing is very critical. The challenges that we are facing is the services should be 24/7 services, so the service should be up and running all the time. That's why we need to purchase the last technology, which help us to provide services to people. And of course, one of the critical services, for example, the complaining systems, which is called the 940. So anyone has a problem, for example, electricity or water problem, something like that, he can call 940. So it should be, and this is managed by the IT. So it should be up and running 24/7. And also dealing with the financial issues like Sadat services. This is one of the services that Saudi Arabia provided, over the last 6 years, which you can pay any invoice online. So, and this services is very critical as well, because it's affecting on the invoices and affecting on the revenues and affecting the money on all of this stuff. Also, the violation systems. Riyadh Municipality is one of the, monitoring, for example, the shops to make sure that they are adhere for the laws and all of this stuff. So overall, Riyadh Municipality, one of the IT services in Riyadh Municipality is a core services, very critical. That's why it's, as I said before, is keen on having the last technology, which helps to provide good services with quality.
That actually is taking me to the next questions, which actually maybe you give a brief about it, which is the big challenges that you're currently facing. So what I understand mainly is that your services and your applications need to be up and running 24/7. So this is maybe one of the big challenges. Is there any other challenges that you feel that you were facing before you adapt Oracle technology? Is there any specific challenge that you want to elaborate more about?
Yes, well, as I said, the big challenge is 24/7, and this is not easy, to be honest. We don't accept minutes of downtime. So, if we have 1 minute downtime, believe me, it's a problem for us. So this is a big challenge. The other challenge is the criticality of the services. Okay, as I said, that one of the services is affecting on the financial system. For example, if you want to pay an invoice, this invoice has a deadline time. So if you pay, 5 minutes before and the system is slow and it's confirmed after 6 minutes, you will get a fine, which is a very critical system. So alongside with the 24/7 system, performance should be fast. We don't accept slow performance. So those are the two factors. I can say it's big challenges for us. The availability and the performance, both of them. If we can summarize, the thing is in terms of IT technologies, high availability and high performance as well.
Yeah, that looks real challenge, and that's really very, very critical, it seems. Okay, Mr. Jamal. So what I understand that you've been in the IT services for the past 50 years. What I remember is that before you moved to Oracle infrastructure, you've been using a standard and a legacy infrastructure. You've been using a standard server storage, and you've been integrating different vendors, like from different vendor servers and storage, along with the hypervisor and the operating system. And later on, they have decided to refresh. Is there any specific reason, or what was the main driver for this project to refresh and to move to a latest technology?
Yes, as I said before, Riyadh Municipality is, let's say, the leader in this area. It's always trying to get the last technologies because of the services and the high development as well. We have a high development demand. We are developing, at least 4 systems a year. Okay, providing hundreds of services, e-services as well. So the demand of having or upgrade, let's say, our infrastructures and our it's very high. So what triggered us to get the engineering systems in 5 years, let's say, or maybe 4 years, we noticed that as I said, that we don't accept downtime, plus we don't accept the slow performance. So in I think in 4 years, last 4 years or maybe 4.5 years, we noticed that there's a slow performance, a very slow performance is coming, all the day. And it stayed 2 days for very slow, very, very slow. Analyzing this in terms of the infrastructure, we found that the problem is coming from I/O. And because of, we were using traditional hardwares, which is, servers, and we have SAN storage. So, and Oracle installed on top of that. So we don't own the other area. Our metrics, our statistics state that the problem is I/O in the storage area. And we reported this to the storage vendors that we have seen. We have observed the problem in the storage area, I/O. The storage vendor, denied that no problem for that. So we stayed debated for 2 days. We have seen this clearly. Statistics, storage showed us as well the statistics, So we've got stuck to this one, and to be honest, it's 2 days and it's more than, it takes longer than it should be. So what we've done is to prove this is a storage problem. We prepared another storage and we moved the database to this storage, start up the database, and the problem was gone. So, from that point, we said that we should have an engineering system. Engineering system, the benefit of this, everything you have in one box. You have the operating system, you have the storage, we have the network as well inside. And the most important that you have one vendor for the support. For example, software, nothing, there's no software, free of bugs, you will face an issues, If you face this issue on an engineering system, for example, so what we create one ticket, just one ticket for this one, and the vendor will sort out all the things. So this one of the main benefits that we triggered us to get engineering system. And yes, we in that case we requested Oracle database appliance as a proof of concept POC, and we've got that machine fast, quite and fast. That would a good sign. In 2 weeks, we've got POC machine. It was X6 at that time. We put it in the data center, and what was amazing at that time, the setup, of the ODA, all of the stuffs, hardware, network cables, installation, all of these stuffs took only a couple of hours, which was, to be honest, I was impressed of this one. So a couple of hours, we've got one machine installed, set up, and we've got a database there. So this is number one that, in POC, to be honest, one of the points, these positive points, it's you can set up the machine quite and fast. The other things that when we set up the machine and we moved our database there, so we make some KPIs. We have some KPIs, a couple of KPIs which tell us this will give us what we are looking for or not. One of the KPIs, the backups that we are taking, we are taking a logical backup. In traditional system, it took around, 2 hours to be completed after many tuning, settings. We, and it was the same resources. I mean, same CPU, same RAMs. In terms of that, we ran this backup on ODA, and it took only 7 minutes, which I was very, very impressed with this. So the POC passed in the first couple of days. We were planning to make 2 weeks. And in the first couple of days, we felt that, yes, we have something different. Something, and know about the database. It's really designed for the database. So the other KPIs, that one of the jobs, which is a painting, we had a painful job because it's, it was critical job, and it's, gathering the statistics for the mayor's top management. It was taking on the traditional system, 1.5 hours to be completed. And without any tuning on ODA, it took around, 15 minutes to be completed. So that's why from that time, we even don't let POC machine to go out from our data center. We asked the vendor, the partner at that time, that please bring the machine and take your POC, because we will put our POC in production live. And we did, we did. So we've got after that one ODA, and it was a good practice. And we purchased it after that another 4 ODAs for different systems. And it's up and running now for 3 and maybe 4 years. And it was very, very, very stable, very good. We had no issues with the performance. The other thing that the traditional system was down from time to time. Now we can get, the ODA machine up and running for forever, unless we have a planned outage of this.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jamal. That you have addressed actually the main features of Oracle Engineer Systems, which is the first one, which is eliminating the finger pointing between the different vendors. As you have said, all the support you will have it only from one vendor, which is Oracle. You have addressed how agile is the Oracle Engineer Systems, how fast you can implement. As you said, the ODA can be done in a few hours. And this is actually the value of Oracle Engineer Systems against do it yourself. So I can recall the journey of doing the POC and how it was successful, and how you moved from a single ODA to implement 5 ODAs. And later on, this is actually when we talk about an Oracle database. Now, when we talk about the middleware and we're talking about the application layer, later on you have acquired Oracle Private Cloud Appliance. So what was exactly? So what was the main driver, or what makes you decide to have the Oracle PCA as your middle tier architecture or your middle tier infrastructure?
Yes, well, yes. We talked about the database, and this is the time of the middleware, because if you have a good database machine and you have a middleware, environment which is not good, you might not feel the beauty of this one. So we had Exalogic 7 years ago. And to be honest, Exalogic, we like it, one of the most powerful. Now I know it's stopped now, but it was a very powerful machine, and we've got experience on Exalogic. We have one of the experts over the Middle East, which was got every single benefit from Exalogic. So as I said, that the challenge that we have, and the high demand of development that we have in Riyadh municipalities. So many applications that we are developing a year, many of services that we're providing, e-services as well. And this require, many VMs in terms of middlewares. So we have around, from 100 to 750 VMs. So running all of these VMs should be run on a realistic and scalable, powerful platform. Exalogic was one of that, and we are happy with that. But since Oracle stopped developing Exalogic, we asked it about what is the equivalent, and maybe better than Exalogic. It was PCA, Private Cloud, appliance, and indeed that we made some kind of POC with Oracle UK, I guess, in that time, and we found that it's very good. We had also a couple of technical sessions, which compared between even Exalogic and PCA, which is even more easy in terms of management, because Exalogic was a very good, as I said, but the problem is difficult management. Nobody, it needs expert to work on Exalogic. However, PCA is more easier from management point of view, as well. The capability as well is high, and the most important thing, the scalability. You can scale out, anytime you can scale out. So that's why we've got PCA. And indeed, when we migrated our application from Exalogic to PCA, it was X4, it's old. And when we migrated our application to PCA, and this was last year, 2020, in coronavirus, it's at the beginning of the coronavirus. And this was a very big challenge to, set up and install PCA in terms of it was like, careful and all of this stuff, but we've managed to do it. And we was very impressed about the performance that we've got in PCA in terms of Exalogic. It was more faster in terms of IOs and all of this stuff. Also the management, as I said, that Exalogic, we had one of the experts in Middle East, but with PCA, we trained 3 of our team to work on PCA in no time. So it doesn't need much time, to read about this, because it's simple is a management stuff. So this is a beauty that we can see in PCA. And the other thing is the scale out. We don't worry about the workload if it's increased. So if it's increased, we calculate what do we need, and we can scale out, asking for 1 or 2 nodes, put it on the cabinet, and that's it. So this is the things that we like in PCA. The other things that it's generally for engineering system as well, which I forgot to mention in the last database. easy patching apply. If every quarter we have to apply critical patch updates. In traditional systems, if you apply a patching for operating system, grid infrastructures and database and the middleware, it took around 4 weeks. I'm not joking. Yes, 4 weeks to finish this one. However, in engineering system, it's one bundle, which including all of this stuff, including operating system, including the storage, including the network layer, including the firmware for the appliance, including the grid infrastructure, including the database. It's one bundle, and it took only 2 hours, 3 hours to be completed, which is very, very big difference in terms of management. So all of this stuff, made us, we cannot, to be honest, we cannot, for example, one of the things that we are discussing, is moving to cloud or something like that. We said that unless that we have engineering system, we cannot move. We don't want to move to cloud. So because the beauty that we see in the engineering system, and everybody agrees on that, you cannot compare engineering system with other traditional hardwares.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jamal. Just to repeat again regarding the POC for the PCA, we have done it in our solution center in UK. We're in our solution center that you can test, you can perform any kind of PCA in almost in all Oracle products. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Jamal. Just in a brief, in less than a minute, can you just let me know what was the business impact, how the business user have been impacted after this long journey of implementing ODAs and PCAs and all that stuff? So how was the business users' reactions and impact after this one?
We have many, positive impact, but I can show you an example, one of the example, and it's very clear. GIS system, for example, the Geographical Information System. So before having the ODA, they were not able to provide, a live map to people because of the lack of the performance. So they are refreshing every 5 minutes, or I think every hour. After having ODA, they found that their query is very fast, and they decided to make it live. And this one of the very big impacts, and it has been announced over the Twitter that Riyadh Municipality, and this was at the beginning of the coronavirus, COVID-19. So the map is very important for people to see, where is the shops in the nearest shops, nearest open shops, all the stuff. They want to see this on the map. So providing a service live, a live environment, this was very, very positive impact on the system. And it has been announced on the Riyadh Municipality page on the Twitter as well. Riyadh Municipality has managed to provide a live GIS system, on the internet. This is one of the examples. Of course, we have many, many examples as well, but I'm giving you one of the, spotlight examples of this one.
Perfect. That sounds very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamal. That it was a great talking to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are most welcome anytime, Alan.
Thank you very much.